15 phrases to politely end a conversation, according to psychologists. I'm sorry I haven't been able to talk long, but I've loved our chat too. Everyone knows this scene all too well. You're standing and talking to someone, but you really need to go. Or your attention span has waned. Or you're exhausted. Or the chat has become downright awkward for a variety of reasons. You don't want to just cut them off, yet you can't find the right words to finally put an end to the conversation. Many people feel anxious about ending a conversation, and sometimes will avoid starting a conversation for fear they won't be able to make a graceful exit. We also may struggle to end a conversation with someone we know well, and who we know lacks boundaries in either the subjects they bring up in the conversation, or who monologues in a way that a natural stopping point is hard to find. In our buzzing, chatty world, figuring out how to hit the off button on a conversation is just as essential as knowing how to hit play. There are times when, for our own sanity or schedule, we need to wrap up the chat and politely and tactfully exit the conversation. Luckily, there are ways to go about it that are not only polite, but will also make the person feel valued. But before we get into it, here is why it is important to be polite when ending a conversation. Essentially, a polite phrase will replace any words that may come off as rude to the other person. Think of it as a graceful exit. And these boundary-setting phrases can also help you talk with people without fear of scrambling to find a way to end. We're all juggling a million things, and sometimes we need to slide out of a chat to keep up with our busy lives or bow out of a yawn, inducing conversation. That is perfectly okay, as long as someone does so in a thoughtful manner. And then there's the fact that we all have busy schedules. And as much as you might wish you could sit and gab away the afternoon with a friend, you need to move on to your next commitment. So if you don't want to cut someone off at the knees mid-sentence and want to end the conversation on a polite, thoughtful note, here are some key phrases you can try. Number 1, I'm sorry I haven't been able to talk long, but I've loved our chat. For a phone conversation with a marathon, talking relative, you can start the conversation with, Hi, I only have 15 minutes between appointments, but I was thinking of you, so I wanted to give you a call even though I can't talk long. The person feels special, and at the 15-minute mark, you can decide whether you want to go longer or end there. When you're ready to wrap up, you can say, I'm sorry I haven't been able to talk long, but I've loved our chat. Number 2, I need to head out, but let's catch up soon. While this phrase appears simple, it is very effective and gets the job done in any situation. Think of it as your go to phrase for a wide variety of conversations. Number 3, I really want to talk about this with you, but I'm exhausted. Let's say that your partner or someone else who's close to you wants to have a long, in-depth conversation, but you just don't have the emotional bandwidth at the moment. Tell them that you'd like to schedule another time to give them your full attention. According to psychologists, you can then say something like, I really want to talk about this with you, but I'm exhausted, and my brain is just not computing at the moment. I have time tomorrow morning before breakfast. Can we talk then? Number 4, I'd love to chat more, but I've got to run to my next thing. This line shows you appreciate their insights, but are on a tight schedule and would have gladly continued if you had the time. Number 5, I've loved our chat, but I should let you get back to your day. If you're nervous to end the conversation by centering on yourself, simply put the focus back on their time. This shows your respect for them. Number 6, can we save this for later? I don't think I can do justice to it right now. One of the worst things you can do to end a conversation is to reveal your total disinterest in what someone is saying. And maybe that disinterest is due to the fact that you need time to mull it over. Instead, say the above phrase, which, according to psychologists, will show your interest, but signals your need for preparation. Number 7, I have to get going now, but it was great to meet with you and chat. This is a great phrase to turn to when you've met someone new. Psychologist says, if you start a spontaneous conversation at a party or on the sidewalk with a stranger, and don't get a chance to set up your exit at the beginning, then you may need to make a more abrupt exit. First, signal with your body language, like leaning forward or standing up. Then say something direct like, "I have to get going now, but it was great to meet with you and chat." And if you feel like you want to make a more personal ending, reference something like, "I hope everything goes well with Xiz," or "Thanks for telling me about Xiz. I'll check it out." Number 8, always a joy chatting with you, but I've got to dash. Nice and to the point. This phrase leaves a good impression and ends the conversation on a high note. Number 9, I appreciate your thoughts, but I need to get to a meeting. Pick up the kids, etc. Tell the truth about where you need to head next with this phrase that keeps things positive while signaling the end, as Psychologist shares. Number 10, this topic gives me food for thought. Let's continue when I've had time to chew on it. Is your brain on overload from a heavy conversation? Psychologist says that this phrase is ideal for weighty subjects that need digestion time. This will show that you care about the topic as well. Number 11, I need to mull over our chat. Are things starting to feel a little heated during your conversation? By saying this, Psychologist says that you'll immediately achieve some breathing room. Number 12, this has been a real eye-opener. Let's do it again soon, with a compliment and a promise of future chats. You've got to win. Number 13, we see things differently, and that's okay. Let's chat another time. Maybe the conversation isn't going well. Your butting heads and controversial subjects keep coming up over and over again. Psychologists recommend using this phrase when you've hit a wall of disagreement. Number 14, sorry, I don't talk about Xiz. When you want to end a conversation because it has become inappropriate or uncomfortable, you can either be direct and clear, "I don't talk about politics," or you can set a boundary with some humor or in an indirect way. Number 15, instead of saying something, use your body to communicate. Oftentimes, a phrase to end a conversation isn't the only thing you need. You should also have the right body language and tone of voice. And there you have it. 15 phrases to politely end a conversation, according to psychologists. Remember, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So even the politest phrase can sound rude if said with the wrong tone or body language. So make sure your delivery matches your words to truly nail that polite exit. After all, conversations aren't just about words. They're about building and nurturing relationships. When delivering these phrases, try not to cross your arms or look stiff. Instead, look open, gesture. And when speaking, speak in a thoughtful tone and touch the person's arm if the situation feels appropriate for it. Remember, even when ending conversations, kindness goes a long way. That's a wrap for today's video on 15 phrases to politely end a conversation, according to psychologists. We hope you found these insights valuable and that they'll empower you to navigate social situations with confidence and grace. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Mindful Psychology for more fascinating content on psychology, communication, and personal development. And as always, keep those conversations respectful and meaningful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.